Hey, so I'm at the largest indoor tennis club in Europe, I believe. This is Helsinki, Finland, and I have the famous Clash 100 Tour and the 98. I'm gonna demo them both. I've been out of courts for a while, so it's not been easy, but now I'm back and I'm looking for a new weapon. These two are amazing offerings by Wilson. I've heard so much good things about them. The flex rating is crazy on these things, so now this is the court I'm gonna play in. So I'm gonna go test them and let you know how I feel about it afterwards. And if you want to know, I haven't been hitting for a while. I'm back on courts for a month now, and I think I'm doing a good job. I got into shape, I took some classes. I already won 2 games with rather decent players, so I think I'm back on it. So let's talk about these things after I hit with them for an hour. This is happening. Okay, so I tested both rackets. It's time to talk about them, and I think it's best to talk about those rackets right after the game. So let me be honest and right away tell you that these were demo rackets. I'm not even sure about the name of the strings, but I'm gonna ask them. But they were decent strings, again, by Wilson, he said. So it was one of those polyester strings, so it just gave me... I did not have any issues with the strings, let me be honest. And I tested both the 100 Tour version and the 98 version. The strings were an issue because the 98 had better strings, or they had like higher tension. I do enjoy a bit higher tension, especially when I'm playing with a racket with like under 60 of RA stiffness rating. That's why the other one had really loose strings and did not help me, so I really didn't get the feel. That's why I'm gonna come back and test the Tour version later on. But let's talk about the 98. Honestly, usually the softest, like when it comes to the stiffness, the least stiff rackets that I played with were the blades. And compared to the blades, they actually feel stiffer, even though the rating is below. So I'm happy to see Wilson actually innovating, because I'm gonna be honest, for the last couple of years, all they did was change the colors of Federer's racket and market it over and over again. But now it seems like they're up to something. Does it worth the hype? I think it is, because, you know, like when you think about rackets, Babolat is making all these spin-friendly rackets. They have the Pure Aero line, Pure Drive line, which are stiffer rackets, though the latest Pure Aero is like 67, I believe. So it is a little softer, but still it plays like a Pure Aero. So it's like they are stiffer frames in nature. And the swing style, this and that required, are all favoring those who have like a bigger swing and who are actually like preferring stiffer frames, so that they have the counter puncher game, or any kind of like sudden explosive game. And then Babolat came with the Pure Strike line. Pure Strike is actually a great racket. Like I tested it for so long now. Like I did not own one, but if I had one, like if I have one of those with a proper string and string tension, I can just go hit and it won't be an issue. So it's like basically when we think of Wilson's line, blades are kind of matching with the Pure Strike line, in my opinion, again, because like they are more softer frames and they are for like players rackets. And I see many pros, like there was the Fed Cup here, and many pros were using the Pure Strike, and then many pros again who are mostly employing spin were using the Pure Aero line. And when we talk about the Clash again, Wilson was innovating before all this pro stuff abuse, to be frank with you. Wilson was innovating with like S technology. Remember the spin effect? It was something. Like they tested different string patterns, this and that, but then suddenly they thought it's an easier way to just paint Federer rackets into different colors and call it the day. Like the first one was interesting. Remember, like it was red and then black and matte black and then black with like some sort of white accents, the penguin racket. So luckily Wilson decided to change some things, and I see that it's a good formula. But rackets usually they changed a lot. Like they used to last longer. Now that the rackets they are going bad a bit faster. in my opinion. Then the string technology obviously changed the game, but focusing on this racket, I am considering buying one, to be frank with you, because I'm currently using my 6195S. Why I'm doing that? Because I was, you see, my shoulder is tired. I was actually in an accident, so I had shoulder issues for a while. That's why when I'm getting back to the game, I just picked like a, not that stiff, I think it's 67, the stiffness rating. I picked that racket, I started to use it, and it's like the racket I played with the most, I believe. I spent a lot of time with it, and I took a lot of classes when I was using that racket. It's a 6-year-old racket, it's not a new one, but I think I bought that particular unit about 3 years ago, so it's not the newest technology. But again, I like the extreme 18 by 16 pattern on that one. That's actually an interesting string pattern. So I do enjoy experimenting with other rackets, string patterns and everything, and I think Clash is a successful one. When they say they will annihilate competition, no, not really. Pure Strike is still a good racket. It has a very similar feel, but it is true that Clash is a good racket. Again, because I am used to experimenting with many different string patterns, I'm also used to the racket having some weird shots. For example, the launch angle is a bit interesting, and then off-center shots can go really short or really long, so there's this erratic aspect to it. That's why, like, I think if I can tame this beast, that would be a fun racket for me. So again, I need to decide if I want the Tour or the 98. I mean, I want some heft in my racket, even though I have the shoulder issue. So I think I will stay in the Clash line for the moment, unless I decide to go for the Pure Strike. Before going out, I talked to the racket people over there in that club. It's a nice club, by the way, and they advised me to check out the Pure Strike. They're not advice per se, but when I asked for the Pure Strike, and you know, I was looking for the Tour version as well, he said, like, why don't you check out the Pure Strike Tour? It's a nice racket too. Like, it's a little heftier, and I think I need the heft. When we're, again, sorry, it's a messed up conversation, but when I'm thinking of Clash, honestly, forehand side was good, so was the backhand side. Volleys, some people said some negative things about the volleys, but for me, there was no issue. Again, please remember that most of your issues with a particular racket can be fixed by fixing your technique, because modern rackets are very similar. And on top of everything, the good racket advice comes from your coach. Especially if you're a young player, please just leave this channel and do not watch this video, because I'm a recreational player myself. Yes, I played for a long time, but I don't want to influence anyone if they are considering their performance. So please take these with a grain of salt. All these things are my experiences. On paper, they have some resonance, but still, please do not forget the fact that most important advancement in tennis comes from hard work, good technique, taking a lot of classes, putting in the hard work. There is no magical racket. That includes Wilson Clash. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. I will make some tennis videos if you like this video, and let me know what you want to know, what you want to see. Again, I do enjoy comparing and contrasting instead of just focusing on one racket, but if you want me to talk about a couple of other rackets, like I own personally a Pure Aero and then 6195Ss. I had blades before. I had this 18 by 20 version, 18 by 20, yeah, but I think it was a mistake. And one of my favorite rackets is, again, the 95S, which is not that far off from the new, I would say, Pure Aero, but again, smaller head size and a different string pattern. Again, I taste like Pro Staff 95S was one of my favorite rackets. It doesn't exist anymore. It was either 15 by 16 or 16 by 15. I was breaking the strings constantly on that one, but that was a beautiful control racket. So that's one of the rackets that I'm missing. And the flex rating was almost nothing, but it didn't have enough power. The Clash goes beyond that. Again, it's a great hybrid, but sometimes it acts like, I mean, I know my game now, and I don't usually miss some of the shots, especially on the forehand side. I'm a quite confident player, and it had some weird launch angles for my taste, but the serve was actually easy, like pinpoint serves, and the Control was there, power was there, slice was there, so the spin performance of that racket was also good. Anyways, I can keep talking about this racket, but I gotta go in because it's a cold country now that I moved to Finland. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching. See you on the other one. Please post your comments, questions below, and we're gonna make a good next video. Thank you. And obviously I'm gonna test the Pure Strike Tour and the Clash Tour, and I think there will be a video about them. Okay, thanks, bye.